Welcome to Take Me Out, the ultimate podcast about ballparks and the baseball experience. It's Halloween, October 31st, 2025. I'm Alexandra Ellis, and I'm joining my friend Timothy Malcolm.
And so Halloween, it is one of my favorites.
It's all the candy finally goes away soon, I think, but I don't know. I just, like, anytime I go to a place, like, here, have some candy, and I'm like, okay, then I'm like, I need to stop, I can't.
Well, I live with...
Who let me become an adult, you know?
I live with two elementary school children. They are my children. I don't just live with them; they're my children. I made
Thanks
them.
for the clarification.
I made the children. So between now, October 31st, and like May 15th, we will have candy in the house every single day because Halloween candy, we give the girls can have a treat every night after dinner.
Okay,
one treat, so it's like a piece of candy or something. So like. Halloween candy lasts from Halloween until just around like Christmas. And then the Christmas candies come in and cookies come in like right around the same time. So you have the Christmas stuff all the way through basically early February, late January. Valentine's Day comes in after that. And that takes over until about like early to mid-March. And then you get Easter candy. And Easter candy ends around like May.
Yeah,
and then it's summer, and summer's just like, who cares? Like, you can have whatever.
And then it's just hot dogs galore. Let's go.
Yeah, hot dogs and popsicles and ice cream and all that fun junk. I mean, that's it. So this is the beginning of the constant temptation in the house of I just maybe could have that Kit Kat right now, just that one Kit Kat.
Yeah,
and it turns into 4 or 5.
Exactly.
And then I'm like on the couch going, why did I have 5 Kit Kats? This is stupid.
I used to be able to do this so much better.
Yeah, but Halloween is amazing, and it's only better when my favorite baseball team is playing on Halloween, which they have done recently, and yours has recently. And in fact, our favorite baseball teams have played each other on. They didn't play each other on Halloween night, right? Because it was delayed. That game was delayed. That was because it was raining in Philadelphia.
That's right. That was Game 5.
Game 3, I think.
Game 3. Okay.
They postponed it to the next day. So yeah.
Okay. And speaking of the World Series, this is a cool fact that I saw. This is the first time in Major League history where the season has started and ended outside of the country.
That is incredible.
Yeah, because it started in Japan, now it's ending in Canada. It's like, okay, that's actually pretty cool. That's a cool fact.
I think people were saying like it could have been 1994 because I think the 94 season either started in Japan or something like that. Maybe it was the first time they ever played in Japan, or maybe the Blue Jays had the first game that year because they were the defending champions. And obviously people were like sad because that was the one year the Expos could have potentially won the whole thing. So it potentially ended in Montreal. But yeah, we are recording this the night of Game 6 of the World Series.
It's a great World Series.
It's been you know what? It
really
started
good
out
Series.
kind of boring. Game 1 was Blue Jays just ran away with it. Game 2 was kind of your typical Dodger game that was like they dominate pitching. It's kind of annoyingly dumb, and it's not really as fun you think. But then Game 3 was like
Game 3 is still going on, by the way.
It's still happening. I stayed up till the 16th, and then I had to go to bed.
You think 11th for me. I was like, you know what? I don't have too much invested in this, but there is another stat that I saw that MLB posted. Paisley has officially sung the national anthem for World Series Game 2 in 2017, which went to 11 innings, World Series Game 3 in 2018, which went to 18 innings, World Series Game 1 in 2024, which went to 10 innings, and World Series Game 3 in 2025, which went to 18 innings. Brad, you need to stop.
Wait, Brad Paisley sang the national anthem at all of those games?
At all of those.
Seriously?
This is posted by the official MLBX.com account.
Wow.
It was just like, okay, let's stir the pot a little
Brad
bit.
Paisley is the extra innings whisperer.
That's incredible. It's like, what are you doing, dude? Stop.
They have to, like, every couple of years, you have to have Brad Paisley sing the national anthem at a World Series game.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy. Rob Manfred's like, we need to get our viewership up.
We got to camp out. We got to get ready for a long night. Well, I'm rooting for the Blue Jays.
Same. I want Vladdy Guerrero Jr. I'm so happy for him right now. I mean,
Vladdy's awesome. Vladdy Senior is awesome, but Vladdy Jr. is awesome, and I'm just glad to see that he's on the cusp. And a lot of those Blue Jays are from the Philadelphia area. Funny enough.
Yeah.
So like I have like a little attachment. Like Savage is from the Philly area.
I was about to ask. I was like, how do you pronounce it? So I say yes, Savage, because he was Savage that night. He was absolutely. Oh my God.
His name is the most Gen Z last name I've ever heard in my life in baseball. Yes,
Sure.
Savage. But Davis Schneider is from the Philly area. The manager Schneider of the Blue Jays is from the Philly area, and I think there's like 2 or 3 other guys from the Arrighetti, who was on the Astros, then went to the Blue Jays.
Oh yeah,
He's from the
spaghetti.
Philly area. Spaghetti Arrighetti, and they're all like Phillies fans, which is hilarious.
Oh my
So
god.
I wished I like at the beginning of this I was like I want the Dodgers to just sweep them the hell out of there so that I felt really good about the fact that the Phillies were the ones that came closest to beating the Dodgers, and that probably that should have the 7-game series. I will stand by it. But now that the Blue Jays have not only made it competitive but are actually dominating the series in a way, please go Blue Jays and beat the Dodgers and have someone new win. And also maybe it'll stop. I mean, it's going to happen a lot tonight, but the clips of Joe Carter hitting the home run against my Phillies in 1993, the worst moment of my childhood, maybe that will stop happening as much.
Okay.
If the Blue Jays win tonight, so we'll see.
I'll keep that. I'll hope for that for you.
And if you're listening to this after October 31st, and the Blue Jays lost, and then the Dodgers came back and won 6 and 7, I don't know. I'm sorry. Whatever. You jinxed it. All right, so today on Take Me Out, we are going to talk mostly about the Rays again because there's a lot of Rays stuff in the news. We talked about the Athletics in Vegas last episode and all the things that they're going to bring to their new ballpark. But the Rays, the new owner of the Rays, has a vision. We'll talk about that. We have some other things to talk about. But first, Alex, why don't you tell the people who are listening to this podcast, and thank you for listening, how to help us spread the word about Take Me Out?
Well, first of all, you're listening to us right now. If you are listening to us right now on Spotify, thank you so much. While you're on Spotify, you can go to the Take Me Out landing page, give us a wonderful 5-star review. We'd greatly appreciate it. On Apple Podcasts, give us another 5-star review. You can leave a comment. It's cool. iHeartRadio, any of those podcast hosting platforms, we'd greatly appreciate that. You can follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/takemeoutpod. Also on Facebook, facebook.com/takemeoutpod. And then we're on YouTube as well. I almost forgot YouTube again. Hello, YouTube. YouTube.com/takemeoutpod. And then we're also on Patreon. Tim, tell us about Patreon.
The Patreon is patreon.com/takemeout. There are 2 levels, 2 tiers to that. The one that is cheapest is the Loge, as in the upper deck. That is $3 a month. Then you have the field level. That is $5 a month. Both of the levels will get you exclusive episodes of Take Me Out. That is essentially me giving you guides to ballparks, to cities. We're going to do other stuff on that Patreon. We're waiting until we get some Patreon support, some patrons, before we get more of those out there. But there's a couple episodes. Yeah, there's a guide to Philadelphia. So if you go to the Patreon, patreon.com/takemeout, sign up at the $3 a month tier. That's the first tier, the early tier, the low tier. You do that, the Loge, $3 a month, you will get those episodes. And then there will be other stuff that comes along with that. But if you sign up to the $5 a month tier, you will get the episodes, even more stuff. So that's where you go, patreon.com/takemeout. And look, I mean, if you are into ballparks, if you are into going to games and seeing all the ballparks, if you have a bucket list, if you're trying to knock them all out, this is the podcast for you. We give you the guides, the reviews, all that stuff, but we also talk about what's new and happening and fresh and other words that are outdated at the ballparks. We'll talk about the race situation today and how that's going to maybe impact fans down the road, probably in another. But there'll be other things we talk about in this episode. But, the reason we did this episode, and this is where I plug the books. I am the author of 2 books. They're called Baseball Road Trips. Here they are. And one is of Wrigley Field in the background. That's this one. And the other one is, that's this one. And the other, she's got it too. And then this is the Oriole Park at Camden Yards. First edition. Second edition, Camden Yards is second edition, and it is the complete guide to all the ballparks, what to do in all the ballparks, and in the cities where the ballparks are. So if you are looking to go to, say, Seattle and see a Mariners game like Alex did earlier this year, there's a full guide to T-Mobile Park, all the things to do and see and eat and drink and where to sit and all of that. Plus, also all the fun stuff to do in Seattle if you're a baseball fan. We give you all this, all the skinny on everything from the Space Needle to local parks to breweries and restaurants and just so much stuff. So that's the book, Baseball Road Trips. It's wherever you find books, Amazon, but also everywhere, independent bookstores. That's what I tell people. Go to your independent bookstore, ask about it. You might even find it on the shelf still, but if not, ask about it. They can order it for you. So that is the book. That is the stuff to get out of the way. And so let's get into, Alex, the news of the last 2 weeks.
Let's do it. Let's start with the final stage of progressive field let's try that again. Final stage of progressive field renovations are to begin.
So this is from. I mean, I saw this from. It's from I think it's from like Cincinnati Magazine or something like that, or Cleveland Magazine. Yes, Cincinnati. Yes, thank you, Tim. The Guardians are in the final third stage of 3 of progressive field renovations. They've been doing this for, I don't know, 7-8 years, something like that now, maybe
Gosh.
even more. They've been renovating progressive for a while. So the first stage of the renovations was the really big stage where they moved a lot of the outfield seating around and they opened up the outfield so that there were more spots for people to go congregate, eat and drink. They started the whole districts at Progressive. So Progressive Field, the way that they sort of do the concourse is they separate them by districts, quote unquote. They're sort of named after, I think, Cleveland area neighborhoods and things like that. So each district has sort of an anchor restaurant or food court situation. And then there's maybe a beer garden or there's something else going on. There's shopping, whatever. So the districts, that was the first part of it. The second phase was more internal, I believe, where they changed clubhouses, expanded those out, expanded the basement, the interior to kind of space things out for players and people on the club. The third phase now, they are doing a bunch of other things that are more fan-facing. So they're replacing old seats at the ballpark. So the green seats that have been a Progressive forever are now going away, and they're installing new seats. I believe they're going to be red or blue, one or the other. They're installing
Guardian colors, yeah.
Yeah, Guardian colors. They're installing them in the upper deck. So you're going to get new seats in the upper deck. They're also renovating concession stands, replacing concrete, and adding new concession stands, including the market. The market, we don't really know much about. There's no information about exactly what they are going to be selling there and what they're featuring. Delaware North is the concessioner for Progressive Field. Delaware North does concessions for a lot of the ballparks in America, and they have not yet said what the offerings at the market are going to be, but they will. I'm sure we'll all find out sometime, after the new year, what all that food's going to be. The new stands will be put in place along the first and third baselines on the lower deck and at home plate on the upper deck. So you'll see some of those new things happening on the concourses at Progressive. I haven't been to Progressive in a while. It's a park that I need to get back to. When I was there last, it was before the renovation started. So I don't really have a great understanding of the park anymore. But from what I recall, the concessions were fun, but, very sort of elementary. Wasn't a lot of creativity, wasn't a lot of variety to the concessions at Progressive. But again, this was quite a while ago before the renovation, so who knows what's going to be there now. It's a $5 million project. This has been a much more expensive renovation, something like 50 to 60 million, I think, something like that. The first phase was the most expensive, so this is kind of them finishing it off. So Progressive. I mean, it's again a park that I haven't been to in a while. You have been to Progressive?
Not.
You have not
It's
been to
like
Progressive.
the main parks I haven't been to are like all up there in the Midwest, like
That's
Cleveland,
right.
Cincinnati, Detroit, Milwaukee. Those are ones I still haven't been to, but I've got like 7 more left. So it's about half of them are up there.
Yeah, it's a ballpark that it needed the renovations because it was one of the first ones to open in this new sort of retro classic, retro modern style. It's funny because it opened it was 1994 when Progressive opened as the Jacobs Field. And it was more retro modern than retro classic, I think people think, because there's a little bit more sort of modern touch, a little bit more steel, a little bit more, I guess, heft to the design. It's a taller ballpark. It's actually kind of a small ballpark. It's weird because when you look at it, you think it's a really big ballpark, but it's just tall. The upper deck is kind of far away, but it's a small ballpark. It's actually
forced perspective that they can do at Disney World with the Cinderella's or Sleeping Beauty's castle kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's kind of that.
That's some Imagineers on that. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like one of the 3 smallest ballparks in baseball, like as far as the amount of space it takes up. So it's like Progressive Field, Fenway Park, and Citizens Bank Park are like the three smallest ballparks essentially in baseball. Progressive is right there, and I think seating wise, it's actually relatively small. So it's small, but it's an illusion. It's an illusion, Michael, because it's tall. So. But I haven't been there in a while. They've done all the renovations. I can't wait to go back there because, it was really fun when I was there last. It's right there in the downtown area and kind of cool. So, but yeah, Progressive is finally kind of in that new era. It's along with the other ones now. It's somewhere in the middle of the pack as far as ballparks are concerned. But it's still, to me, they've done a nice job of keeping it, relatively modern and cool. So cool.
Well, I can't wait to check it out one of these days. All right. Cincinnati's new statue has been vandalized.
It is crazy. I mean, we talked about this just last month.
Yeah.
The Reds unveiled a statue for longtime broadcaster Marty Brennaman. It's in their, I forget what it's called, the Hall of Fame area or whatever. Outside the ballpark near home plate, there's all these statues and things around there. You have the Big Red Machine people, the Pete Rose and Johnny Bench and Joe Morgan and all those guys. Then there's a couple statues that represent the Reds from the 1950s, like Joe Nuxall and stuff like that. But this Brennaman statue was unveiled back on September? I forget when in September. It was like September 20th, 21st. It was right at the end of the season.
Man. But
it was vandalized very recently, October 25th, and security cameras caught what happened here. So don't vandalize things, but B, don't vandalize things in public places that you are obviously going to have surveillance.
Everywhere.
Well, especially around the ballpark
nowadays. Yeah.
Especially around the ballpark. Yeah, I mean, come on. A 13-year-old kid went up. So there's video of this. The 13-year-old kid is in front of the statue, kind of jumps up onto the statue, kind of sort of does like a leapfrog up, and takes the microphone part and twists it, bends it, and then breaks part of it off. So what is the point of that? Are we trying to it's just a part of a microphone? Did this teen need a very small amount of bronze that they would then take to a shop that would melt it down and he would get money for it? I don't know, or she would get money for it. They don't know they haven't said the gender of the teenager. I don't know. I mean, it is a child. They haven't released a name. Obviously, it's a minor, so they're not going to release the name of the person. But it's just, what are we doing? Come on, it's a kid. I don't know. It's silly and it's dumb, and it's Marty Brennaman's statue. Why are we this has happened though? There's been a lot of statue vandalizations over the past several months and years now. I want to say there was another baseball statue that was vandalized recently. We talked about it. Was it a Jackie Robinson? It was a Jackie Robinson statue, I believe.
Yeah, they stole it, right?
Yes. Oh, that's right. It was stolen.
Yes. That was was it last year? Yeah. Or 2 years ago.
Year, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was the one, it's in the middle of the country, wasn't it? It was the one in Kansas or something. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is not, we have heard stories about statues being vandalized or stolen or things, and mostly because the people who are stealing them want to get the money for the bronze or whatever.
It was last year, the League 42 in Wichita.
The Wichita, Kansas.
Yeah, last year. It was unveiled in August of last year, and then it was also destroyed. Actually, no, wait, no, just kidding. The new one was unveiled last year in August. But yeah, it happened last year.
It's just silly. It's just silly. We're in hard times. People need money and all that. And I do what you got to do, to get by. But don't vandalize statues.
Yeah, I don't think that's the answer.
Unless they're of Confederate war heroes, I don't give a crap then. But because they're not
Go
heroes.
for it. I'll mind my own business on that part.
No, come on. But baseball, it's this is silly.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, that's it for the news. Very quick news this week. There's not a lot going on, honestly, because end of the season.
All eyes are on the World Series.
All eyes are on the World Series. Teams aren't necessarily making improvements yet on ballparks. They've announced some things, but nothing really has happened. But that's it for the news this week. We will be back in 2 weeks with more of that. But we'll be back just in a moment to talk about the Rays and what they're doing in Tampa. And we'll probably have some banter to finish things out after that. Stay with us here on Take Me Out. Welcome back to Take Me Out. Tim here, and Alex is there.
What's up?
So, the Tampa Bay Rays are back in the news. We've spent a lot of time talking about the Rays in this podcast. We could almost become a Tampa Bay Rays podcast by itself.
I mean,
but
yeah.
We could. I mean, yeah, why not? They could be our other team. Why not?
They could, yeah. I was like, they could be our like, they be like our Tampa Bay Rays. They're cool people.
Yeah. So they are obviously the situation, as we all know. Tropicana Field is being repaired. It was destroyed in a hurricane a couple of years ago, and now they're putting roof panels back on. That job should be done in about a month. They are then going to make sure the park is all spruced up and ready to go, and then, as far as we know, the Tampa Bay Rays will be playing baseball at Tropicana Field again next season, starting with their first home game, which is scheduled for sometime in early mid-April. They are not going to play at Steinbrenner Field, as far as we know, this year. However, there are changes afoot in Tampa. Stuart Sternberg is no longer the owner of the Tampa Bay Rays. The owner of the Tampa Bay Rays is Patrick Zalupski, who took over just last month. He was approved unanimously by the owners of baseball. And so he is now the managing owner. He's the managing, what do they call it? The managing figure? I don't know, whatever he is. Partner? But he's the guy, the managing partner. He's like the person who baseball looks at and says, he's the owner. So Patrick Zalupski is the guy in charge. And one of the main things he talked about upon coming in is we need a new ballpark for the Rays. And there has been a lot of talk about where that ballpark will go. It's still unsure where that ballpark will go. But the news that we have recently, Adam Berry from MLB.com wrote up this a couple days ago. Zalupski has laid out a vision for his new ballpark, and it's not a mess. It's not like the details of things. It's not like the A's ballpark that we talked about last time out and all the fun stuff that they're going to have at the new ballpark there. This is more sort of a broad-based vision for what a Rays ballpark could be in about, 10 years or so, but even earlier. So this was kind of crazy to me. Zalupski says that he wants to have a new ballpark in Tampa area for the Rays by opening day 2029. That seems like they have to do it like now.
Like they should probably 5 minutes ago. Like at the latest.
Because the A's ballpark that is supposed to open in 2028. And that has been in the works for a couple of years now. And they started construction earlier this year for that ballpark. So, I mean, if they want to break ground on a Rays ballpark, it probably has to happen by spring of next year, I would imagine.
Yeah, and just hope there's no hurricanes or anything that can hinder it. Because
I mean, everything. I mean, building in that area is always tough. But yeah, I mean, it's the timeline. He's setting 2029, and that's probably a best possible utopian scenario. I don't think that's going to be what happens, but maybe he's hoping that by 2030, 2031, we can have a ballpark in the area.
Yeah.
But he talked about a fixed roof stadium for the Rays, so not a retractable stadium, a fixed roof. Currently in baseball, I believe it's just the Rays who have a fixed roof stadium, right? It's just Tropicana.
Yeah, it is.
Any other fixed in the game?
I think the only other one I can think of is the Astrodome, right? I mean,
or
in the Kingdom. Astrodome was most recent.
Back when they were domes. I mean, you had the Kingdome, the Heward Humphrey Dome, the Astrodome. Was there another one? There might have been another one out there. But Olympic Stadium was retractable. Rogers Center was retractable. So, it would be the only fixed roof stadium, which is very interesting. Wants to call it a forever home to anchor. So this is a quote, to anchor a best-in-class mixed-use development that would require at least 100 acres of land. This is from Adam Berry at MLB.com for what he called a, quote, world-class live, work, play experience, unquote. So there we go. I mean, this is exactly what baseball has been doing, what all these teams have been doing. Going further down in this article, he talked about, so this is from Adam Berry at MLB.com, citing the Battery Atlanta around the Braves' Truist Park as the, quote, gold standard. Zalupski said a significant amount of land is critical to build the ideal mixed-use development with a ballpark surrounded by hotels, office, and retail space, bars and restaurants, and a music venue. So we have heard this, especially during the All-Star break when the Braves hosted the All-Star game this year. There was a lot of talk about how the Battery was very influential for a lot of teams and a lot of developers and architects, that the Battery idea of building essentially a small not really a city, but a mini village around a ballpark where the ballpark is the anchor of that village is sort of the way forward. Right now we have some ballparks that have a standalone Cordish company's sort of center that is next to the ballpark that says come and eat and drink and play and then go to the game afterward. There are a couple ballparks that have a much larger sort of village area around the ballpark or near the ballpark. Some are organic, like Wrigleyville in Chicago. Some are not organic, like Ballpark Village in St. Louis that has been built up for the Cardinals. And then you have the Braves in Truist Park, which is surrounded by a completely inorganic village called the Battery that was developed to be the surrounding of Truist. And it's where we're going. It's where Zalupski wants to go with the Rays. He wants to have something like the Battery for the Rays in the Tampa-St. Pete area. I have been on record to say that I think the Battery is a good idea in concept because it does allow you to grow sort of what you want to grow as a baseball team around a ballpark, and you want to sort of make it your own. The execution of the Battery, I think, is heavily because it is in a suburban area. It's very hard to get to. It's costly to park there. It kind of shuts out a lot of people who live in the Atlanta area, especially people from underrepresented areas that don't have sort of transportation widely available to them. And it also feels a little too sort of monolithic and a little cold and a little sort of postmodern and not really soulful at all. I mean, I'm not getting into the whole Atlanta thing, but to me, Atlanta is one of, if not the most soulful American city, large American city there is, right?
Right.
The Battery is completely devoid of soul. It just is. I'm sorry. And
it's just manufactured.
It's manufactured. And so this is what I worry about with teams that want to put Battery-like developments around their stadiums. The Astros have talked about turning parts of East Downtown there into sort of their own development that's more of a village than it is right now. I worry that teams are going to turn it into something that is very cold manufactured and just like doesn't really have soul, doesn't really have this sense of like, maybe a little bit of team character, but like, where's the passion? Where's the heart? Where's the joy? I want that out of that. Where's the Wrigleyville? Wrigleyville has a character that is real. Where's that at these ballparks? So that's what I worry about. But that's what he's looking for out of this new ballpark, it seems like.
Yeah, that's a fantastic idea. I love how they would do that, but it's almost kind of like don't focus too much on that because it's gonna feel like you're trying too hard. It's almost like the whole keep Austin weird thing, which is like a trademark thing now, and it's just become so corporatized. And I just hope it doesn't turn into something like that where it's obviously just not cool. Like, I'm hoping they can keep. I doubt it, but if they can keep some prices low to things more local without just a bunch of Anheuser-Busch stuff everywhere or Silver Eagle stuff everywhere, I'd hope they could do something where you have actual local favorites, have new homes or just additional homes, something that they can keep it in whichever region of the Tampa, Florida area they keep it in. They can kind of feel like, hey, this is Florida, this is local still.
Yeah, it's gonna be annoying to walk into what are you gonna call it, Raysville or whatever, and you're gonna have the Hill sponsored by Capital One Bank where you can sit and watch entertainers perform on the stage, sponsored by Publix, I don't know, whatever. It's just everything has a sponsor, everything, and you do water it down because you're going to have Anheuser-Busch is going to pony up a lot of money to have a branded restaurant there that is going to just serve regular American food and bar food, and it's going to be sort of annoyingly dumb, and there's going to be a lot of beer on tap, but it's going to be all Anheuser-Busch products. And what happens to Green Bench Brewing? Green Bench is the best brewery in that area in St. Petersburg. And are they going to have any profile there? Is Cigar City going to have a profile there? What are the local businesses going to look like or are they going to have anything at all in that area? Who knows? The other thing was a location for the ballpark. So Zalupski also talked about that. He said that they're looking, quote, everywhere in the Tampa-St. Pete region for the right location. Open to Hillsborough County, which is where I believe Tampa is, and Pinellas County, which is where St. Pete is. I believe that's right. I think that's right. He said that they have meetings scheduled this week with officials in both Tampa and St. Pete. Yeah, I mean, they talked about, there's been rumors that they were looking at the gas lamp area around, or gas light, which one is San Diego, one is, this is the problem I have. One is San Diego, one is Tampa. One is gas lamp, one is gas light. Ybor City, they're talking about having a ballpark kind of near Ybor City in Tampa, closer to the water, in that gas district, whatever it is, on the table. That's been talked about. Maybe it's in St. Pete. And like, if you have it in St. Pete, are you doing it near Tropicana Field? Are you tearing down Tropicana Field? Like, what does it look like there? Because Tropicana is right near downtown. So how does that look? I don't know. They could, potentially they could build it out in the outskirts of the Tampa-St. Pete area and put it in a more sort of remote commercial area that is off the highway, a la the Battery, and sort of create what they want to create in open space. That's not what I want. But, it's going to take a while. They still have to kind of come up with a location. I would imagine we will get location, more secure by what? Probably the spring of next year, summer of next year.
So, yeah, especially if they're trying to stick with the 2029 deadline. it's just
I just don't think 2029 is going to happen.
Yeah, the goals, keep on setting goals. That's great, but make them somewhat realistic.
I know that their lease at Tropicana ends after the 2029 season or 2020, like somewhere in that area. Their lease at Tropicana ends around then, so they would need to get some sort of like small extension to stay at Tropicana for maybe a year or two.
What month to month lease would look like there?
Well, look, stranger things have been proposed for the Rays. Let's play half the year in Tampa and half the year in Montreal. Whatever. Yeah.
So how far? I know we talked about this. How far is Steinbrenner Field from Tampa proper?
Steinbrenner Field is in Tampa.
Okay.
It is not downtown, but is closer to the airport, sort of toward like the western end of the city, or northwestern end, or whatever it is probably 10-15 minute drive to downtown Tampa.
Okay. I don't know why I thought I'd be further away, but okay.
No, Steinbrenner
Field not a major league field, obviously, so.
No, Steinbrenner Field is right next to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Stadium, which I want to call Raymond James. It might not be Raymond James anymore, but they're right across the street from each other, and they're like 10 to 15 minutes from downtown Tampa. And then St. Pete is, Tampa, you got to go across Tampa, and you can go down to St. Petersburg, which takes another like 25, 30 minutes, or you can go across to Clearwater, Dunedin, and the beaches from Tampa west. And then, so that's how it looks. But, and then Pinellas County is like all like sort of Clearwater, Dunedin, to St. Pete and all that stuff. So,
okay.
I think so. I believe that's how it goes. I'm not looking at a map. This is all off the top of my head, and I've been to Tampa St. Pete like 5 or 6 times. So there you go. That's
not bad. It's not bad. Doing a good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So
I don't know if you're right or not. So I don't
know. There is some good news about Tropicana Field. They're still working to get Tropicana Field ready, but the Rays did announce that they are opening a pop-up team store right across the street from Tropicana Field. So this will be at 1101 First Avenue South, right across from Tropicana. It will have a selection of Rays merch and collectibles. There will also be a coffee bar with complimentary coffees, lattes, and pastries. Ooh. I love that. Why not?
I'm like, I'll just go. Sure. Put me on a plane. I'll get some free coffee.
It's open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday. I believe this Saturday it opens. Maybe it was last Saturday. This is a piece from WFLA. It will then be open 10 to 5 on Saturdays, 10 to 5 on weekdays, 10 to 4 on Saturdays. There's free parking near Tropicana Field as well for the store. So to me, this just like tells me that they do really feel like Tropicana will be ready to go for the start of the season, that they are doubling down a little bit more on, we are back at Tropicana. We're in the area. Come to the area, see Tropicana again. Here's the store. Kind of get yourself, acclimated again with the area. That's kind of the message, sort of the subtle message that I get out of this. There is a quote here that actually kind of says that even more. Bill Walsh, the Rays chief business officer, not the former head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, Bill Walsh, he says, quote, "We very much look forward to being back at Tropicana Field for the 2026 baseball season. There's been great progress with repairs, and the pop-up store is a concrete first step to moving back into Tropicana Field. This new retail space will also give us the opportunity to host special events and allow Rays fans the chance to come together and shop through the holiday season. So exactly, like this is a way for them to say, hey, here's the ballpark again. Remember this? It's almost ready. Like we'll have it ready for April. Here's the store. Get yourself back into the groove. The Rays are back here. It's all good. And the coffee and the pastries is like perfect if you're going for the holidays and you're spending a couple hours looking for Rays merch and you get a little coffee. It's great. I love it. So good news for the Rays.
Yeah, I love it. Also, always good news. And I'm picturing in my mind where I'm thinking it would go because I went there I think two or 3 years ago. Like I know we're looking west at it, like. To the left, it's just is a bunch of like boulevards and streets, and then to the right is a little bit more shopping, a little bit more businesses over there. So I'm wondering if that's where it's going to be. All I know is just a lot of land over there. I remember it's just being surrounded by parking lots, which is kind of how the Astrodome was.
Yeah.
And what's that? There's that big bar that's like under the bridge across the street from over there. I can't think of what it was called.
Yeah,
it was a really cool.
I know what you're talking about. It's got like 5 or 6 like kind of rooms.
Yeah.
Man, what's the name of that bar? Yeah, good. Man, is it like it's not Bill's or like it's
I'll
have to look.
Ferg's.
Yes,
yeah.
Ferg's.
Yeah.
Ferg. Yeah, I went to Ferg's after the Rays game I went to last, and yeah, it's cool. Like there's literally like 6 bars at Ferg's, and they're kind of like spaced out. Like sort of outdoor, but kind of indoorish too. Like it's sort of both. And the night I went, it was like kind of empty there. There weren't a lot of people there, but there was still like a little buzz, and there were like, a bartender or two kind of milling about, but it was a cool place. And that's right under the bridge, then you go kind of up a hill just a little bit to get to sort of the main drag in St. Pete, and green benches there and some other places. So, yeah, so, hopefully this means that the Rays will be back at Tropicana it sounds like they will be, so that's great.
Yeah, cool.
Meanwhile, final thing about the Tampa-St. Pete area, and this is Rays related, but not necessarily for the Rays, but the Hillsborough County Board of Commissioners last week approved renovations to Steinbrenner Field, $18 million worth of renovations. So the Yankees are getting a better park coming up didn't do the renovations for the Rays last year, but doing it for the Yankees return. They were there last year as well, but their full return. So they approved the measure, 6-1 vote. There's a lot of renovations that they are going to be making. There's a list of enhancements, and they include, I'm not going to say all of them because there's a lot of things, but they're going to be stadium TVs, scoreboard, parking lot repaving, stadium wall padding, seat replacements, Wi-Fi improvements in the entire stadium and in the interior, stadium entry, plaza renovation, first and third base rooftop covers, community pavilion refresh, a lot of things, a lot of smaller things. It seems like a lot of things that and I get it. This ballpark's been around since 1996, I think, and last year it really, there was a lot of, it aged last year pretty well. I mean, it got a lot of work because you had the Yankees playing their rookie league team was there, obviously, and then you still had Rays baseball there.
A lot more games than it's used to.
Yeah, so the wear and tear kind of grew quite a bit for Steinbrenner Field last year. And I'm sure that they wanted to make these renovations at some point at the ballpark. And I'm sure last year was probably like, maybe not the time to do a full-scale renovation project because we had the Rays coming in and we're going to have to sort of very quickly change the ballpark over to sort of fit them as well. And from everything that we've heard about last season, I mean, the Yankees were really, really good to the Rays, all things considered. And Steinbrenner Field, they did a really good job of making it feel like the Rays for a season, and the Rays were very happy with everything, and the fans seemed to be pretty happy with how things went. And I think some fans were actually kind of happy that they got to see the Rays outside and not under a dome. And even though the new owner wants to keep them back in a dome, but yeah.
Okay, you went outside, have fun. Now we're never go back inside.
Now we're gonna go back inside. I mean, I don't understand why you just don't do a retractable. I mean, why do you need a fixed dome stadium? But I don't know.
I mean, I'm wondering. I know the cost of repairs for keeping a retractable roof is probably insanely expensive. I mean, like the Astros can't keep. We've opened the roof We didn't even open the roof at all last season. I know that there's a lot of repairs needed, but there's probably a lot of cost in there that they probably just didn't want to mess with this time. And also just kind of keeping it in the tradition, That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. Who knows? Maybe they will make it retractable, but yeah, maybe the budget just isn't there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the Rays after all. But
yeah.
So yeah, these are all like small improvements to Steinbrenner to kind of, refresh the ballpark a little bit, which is good. And it was last renovated about 10 years ago, so it's probably about time for some things. So
yeah,
there you go. So that is Steinbrenner Field. So good stuff in Tampa-St. Pete. The Rays look like they are kind of getting the wheels turning again, and things are getting back going. And maybe there's a ballpark in the future, a couple years down the road, and we'll see about that. And anything else? I mean, so we had the playoffs. They are wrapping up very quickly here. It has been a fun playoff. I mean, there's not really any other stuff that happened over the course of the playoffs that is ballpark or fan sort of facing.
No, it's just a few teams have signed new managers and new staffing moving around, which is very typical for this time of the year. But I'm looking forward to watching these last games. I don't know.
Maybe it's games. Maybe
Yeah.
game.
Could be in it all tonight. Who knows?
How do you think the crowds have been? Like, if you had to rate between the Dodger Stadium crowd and the Rogers Center crowd, how would you rate them?
I would say Rogers Center's doing pretty well. I've actually seen some videos on Twitter and Instagram of people who live in the high-rise condos around Rogers Center, and like they have their balcony open and everything, so they're watching the game. And then like the caption is like when you live across the street, and it's like you hear the roar of the crowd, and then 15 seconds later he shows it on the camera what happened. So it's like, spoiler alert, something cool just happened. It's been kind of fun watching those, but it's you can really feel the excitement for all the Toronto fans, and it's so cool. And as someone who's not a Dodgers fan, it's been a lot of fun on my half as well. And who knows? It's not over yet, so it could still go to Game 7.
It could. I mean, yeah. I think the Blue Jays fans have been really good in this series, but also the playoffs in general. I mean, they clearly have been starved for something like this. It has been 32 years since they've been in this place, and they've just been rabid and fun and loud, and very clearly you can hear the passion. The Dodgers fans have been good too, but I think the Blue Jays fans have just kind of amped it. I mean, they're just the team that hasn't been there in a long time, and the fans have been starving for it. So it just feels a little bit that much more important for them, I guess. The only thing that I would say about the Blue Jays fans that has annoyed me is, I mean, you've seen the two guys behind home plate who wear the T-shirts that are so silly is a word. You've seen these guys, right?
No, wait, fill me in.
So there was. They really kind of became sort of a meme at the end of the ALCS when they went to Game 7 with the Mariners and they played Game 7 at Rogers. And the two guys behind home plate, one of them wore a shirt. So he was actually wearing a shirt earlier in the series, and I think it was a reference to Big Dumper. So,
oh, God. Okay. Cal Raleigh, yeah.
Have you heard this?
No.
Okay.
No, tell me.
This is kind of gross, but this is what this guy was doing.
Oh, boy. Okay.
So he was trying to make a reference to Big Dumper of the Mariners. Mm-hmm. We want to stop Big Dumper. We want to stop the guy with the big butt. How do you stop a big butt? What do you put in a butt?
No.
He wore that on his T-shirt.
So we had Front Row Amy with the Brewers. Now we got these guys.
Yeah. So on Blue Sky, the guy everyone was talking about him as butt plug guy. That's what it is.
You said it. There it is. There it is.
I mean, yeah, there it is. Because he wore a T-shirt that had a butt plug on it, and so
no.
but it was like,
it's just a Christmas tree. It's fine.
And then in Game 7, when toward the end of the game, he wore a T-shirt that said "LOL Seattle" or "Bye Bye" or something like that.
Yeah.
Which my argument for all that was like, if it's Game 7 of a series and my team is winning or about to win, and we're going to go to the World Series or win the World Series or whatever, The last thing I care about is the opposing team and being a dick to them, right? Like being annoying to them. Like,
just celebrate.
I care
your
about
team.
my team and celebrate. Yes,
you're gonna go to your team's thing and wear a shirt about another player on another team you're playing against.
Yeah,
that's
like the whole butt plug. Like,
yeah,
if a Philadelphia Phillies fan did that, and I would probably like chuckle for like a half second and be like, it's dumb. It's dumb. Yeah. It's very, very teenage. It's very teenage to do that.
Yeah.
Like, there are far more clever things to put on a t-shirt. So, okay, here's a really good one. And this is a kind of a weird long story, but I'm going to just like tell this really quick, and you're going to have to understand this, and I'm sorry. Okay. But so if I can remember this correctly, several years ago, my favorite basketball team, the Philadelphia 76ers, the guy who was the general manager left, and he was potentially forced out because the way that he was thinking was a way that ownership didn't like, and the NBA potentially didn't like it either. So they kind of forced him out, is what people say. I was a fan of that guy, and we were all sad. They brought in another guy who then started the search for the new GM. And the guy who they brought in to start the search was this like well-known basketball guy who, you know, has this like long history of like being in the game and all this. Well, he did this exhaustive search for a GM, and the person that he found was his son, who then took over as GM of the Sixers.
Okay.
I'm not saying names here, but if you know this story, you know this story. I mean,
we did so much looking, and we found the best guy.
Yeah, so the GM, Brian Colangelo, right? And his father is was it Peter Colangelo? Was that his name? I forget. But anyways, so Colangelo becomes the GM of the team. Like a year or two into his tenure, and the Sixers are like, they're good, but they like lose in the second round, as they always do. There's an article that comes out that says the GM of the Sixers may be potentially involved in a scandal where he has multiple burner accounts on social media where he's giving team secrets away and talking shit on his own players. You have to find this. It was a Ringer article. Go to the Ringer. You have to learn about this.
I love the Ringer. I got to look it up.
It's an amazing story. It's the Brian Colangelo story. Okay. It's the burner. No. It's called Burnergate. Okay. As this was unfolding, there were like Sixers fans who were investigating themselves and like, okay, let's trace this back to Colangelo, because they couldn't make the connection to Colangelo, but they made it to his circle. Like, it's someone that he knows or someone that he told or whatever.
It sounds like Sixers fans were not fans of this move.
And what people found, we weren't. And what people found was potentially it was actually Colangelo's wife who had all these burner accounts.
Oh my God. Okay.
And so they found a phone number that had like the last two digits of her phone number was like, those were the key digits, and they were able to trace them to her phone number. They found it online.
That's some good detective work.
During a Phillies game against the Giants in San Francisco, as this was all unfolding, like the night after the phone number came out and the last two digits that came out, a Phillies fan, sat behind home plate in San Francisco at Oracle Park and wore a T-shirt with the last two digits of the phone number on it.
Okay,
that's clever. That's hilarious.
That's so clever. That's like, you know. It's nice and obscure enough where it's not like this guy's being obvious.
But Burnergate was a big story when it came out, and so even like NBA people who were like happened to watch the game were like, wait, those are the last two numbers of a phone number. And like, it was hilarious. And so that's the kind of a funny T-shirt, not like a butt plug, but like a funny, not LOL Mariners, but like funny stuff.
It's like, humor is better when it's a little bit more subtle, It's
absolutely. You got to
don't just put it like, but it's like funny. It's like that. Make people think a little bit, That's great.
Yeah, don't be a teenager.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so these guys have been the focus of I guess of anything fan wise in the World Series this year. But Blue Jays fans by and large have been really, really awesome to listen to during the series and watch, and I hope they win.
And they don't cheer when George Springer gets hit by a pitch or any player gets hit by a pitch. But
well, I don't want to see Springer do well, but
I get it. I'll say this. I've told this to one of my friends. Like at this point, I'm more. Of course, the series isn't over. It ain't over to the fat ladies things, but right. And this is very big of me. I'm more excited for Vladdy Guerrero Jr. if he gets a ring than George Springer because Springer's already got one. Might have a little asterisk next to it, but it's okay. I'd love to see Vladdy because he was so emotional after they won the American League, and it's like, dude, this would be really cool for him, It's just watching him grow up and everything with his dad, and let's hope it can get wrapped up tonight.
That would be awesome, and I would love to see Jeff Hoffman throw the final pitch to win it for the Blue Jays because Hoffman was a Philly and broke out as a Philly last 2 seasons and didn't get kind of hurt the Phillies in the playoffs last year, but now he's in a position where he could win it for the Blue Jays, and that would be incredible. So hopefully he gets that.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago, people would call the Blue Jays the Astros North because you had Cavan Biggio, then Gurriel was on there, and then now Springer's up there. So now you could also call the Blue Jays the Phillies North as well.
Yeah. They kind of are in a lot of ways. So all right. Well, that's it for playoffs, but next time we talk to you guys, it'll be off season completely. We'll talk about who won. Maybe the Blue Jays.
We'll have had a World Series parade somewhere.
We'll see what happens. But that'll be next time. But we'll be back in a moment. We'll finish things up here on Take Me Out.
All right, you can give us a follow on Take Me Out with Facebook, facebook.com/TakeMeOutPod. We're also on Instagram at Take Me Out Pod. And we're on YouTube. Hello, YouTube, youtube.com/TakeMeOutPod. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, wherever you get your podcasts. Give us a like, comment, follow, subscribe, 5 stars. And then we're also on Patreon. We would love for you to join us on Patreon. Tim, tell us about Patreon.
Patreon.com/TakeMeOut. We have 2 tiers. The Loge level, $3 a month. That is going to give you exclusive content of Take Me Out, guides, reviews, all that stuff. And then $5 a month is the field tier. I'm not going to put this finger down. That tier is going to give you the exclusive content as well, plus other fun stuff. If you sign up, it is $5 a month. Take Me Out. Patreon is patreon.com/TakeMeOut. That's the Patreon. All right, final segment here on Take Me Out. Welcome back. And it's Halloween as we're recording this.
Yes,
we're dressing up. You have a sort of Halloween get-up today that you have.
I'm obviously going to wear a shirt and think, hey, if you watch this on YouTube, you can see this. My cool, sparkly skeleton shirt, front and back. It's cool.
I did have to ask you, are you wearing something under that? Because
again, I work at a restaurant that's family-friendly, yes.
Yeah. Maybe at home you won't.
It's also a little chilly today, too. So.
Yeah, it is chilly. It is chilly.
It's seasonably chilly. What was the meme I saw of Grandpa Simpson's, sitting there talking to the kids? He said October used to be cold, and it's yeah, man, God.
Peppered Farm remembers. I'll be the Wizard of Oz tonight as my daughters are doing Wicked stuff. So I'm going to be part of the action and do the modern Wizard of Oz, the Jeff Goldblum version, not the old guy who's kind of rumpity and whatever. Mm-hmm. Rumpity's not a word, but it's close.
That's a fun word, though. I like it.
Rumpity's good. I like rumpity. But in the spirit of Halloween and dressing up, I was kind of thinking just keep it easy, keep it fun today. Have you ever dressed up as anything baseball for Halloween?
I have not.
Okay.
But I know people who have.
I believe I did dress up one year as a Phillies player for Halloween, I'm sure. It might have been like zombie baseball player or something like that.
Oh, that's clever. You can do it. I've seen those. So people do the half of the baseball coming out of the head. Have you seen those?
I didn't go that far. No, but
okay, they've been cool.
I've seen that.
A whole lot cooler if we did, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Or like a broken baseball bat coming out of the head. Yeah.
But that's like the last minute, it's like Halloween. It's like 4:00 in the afternoon. You're like, oh no, I don't have a costume. I didn't think hard about this. And you're like, well, what can I do? Well, what do I have that's sort of like a job thing that I could put on, And as a baseball fan, so I have jerseys. Like I'll put a jersey on, but I can't put a jersey on. I'll make myself a zombie baseball player, and I'll put blood on me. So there you go. Okay, so if you were to dress up for Halloween. And it can be any sort of baseball costume. Player, mascot, like a baseball thing, whatever.
I've got one.
What would you dress
I've got one. I'm going to get one of those umbrella hats and just like either a beige or all white, and I'll be the Astrodome.
Oh, that's clever.
That's clever. And they just wear like the old school, like the Tequila Sunrise shirt thing. Yeah. So you have like the Tequila Sunrise around the top of the thing. Yeah, that's it. Super easy. Astrodome.
The Astrodome. I like that.
Yeah. And like maybe put some stains on there. It's like, hey, we're old. And cover myself up with some mold. I don't know.
No. I would, yeah, be moldy afternoon. I was thinking about, could I be like Pesky's pole for Halloween at Fenway Park?
Okay.
So, for those who don't know what Pesky's pole is in Fenway, the right field foul pole, as people know, it slants in. It slants like right field comes in like drastically, like 10 feet or so in. So the right field foul line is like 295 feet from home plate. It's very short, but it juts out. So you go like 20 feet away and it's like 315 or whatever. So the pole is Pesky's pole because you can like sort of wrap a home run around the pole at like 300 feet, or you can hit the pole. I don't think people get that because it's just a pole, but
a little obscure, yeah.
It used to be a foul pole, kind of a thing. That could be fun. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could always just be a mascot, like Philly Fanatic. Philly Fanatic would be the classic one, but it's so hot in that costume. I imagine.
Yeah. I can't
it
imagine.
Would just be, it's just the costume you fit on. So like, I would actually. I don't know if I would be Mr. Met because I don't know if I could put myself in that position to actually be Mr. Met. Because it's the Mets. Like I don't have a problem with the Mets, but I don't know if I could do that much, right?
You could do a zombie Mr. Met.
I could do zombie Mr. Met. Yeah. I could do Mr. Met taking L's. I could do Mr. Met falling off the stage, which he did earlier this year.
Mr. Met going to Cancun because it's the off season early again for the Mets.
Mr. Met in Cancun. That'd actually be funny. That'd actually be a good one. If I were still living in Philadelphia, I would be Mr. Met going to Cancun. That would be funny.
Because I got nothing else to do.
But if I were to do a mascot, I would be Mr. Redlegs, with like the handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
The Reds guy. Like I think that's what I would do. I would be that.
Very Pringles-esque. I love it.
Yeah, very Pringles. Yeah. Very Monopoly man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to think, like, is there a stadium thing? Like, is there like part of a stadium that I can make myself that people would immediately recognize? Like, I don't know if there's enough there. Like, could I mean, like the Wrigley Field scoreboard? I'm
sure like the easy one for the green monster, just wear all green and like put monster makeup on or something.
I mean, I would basically like so there's two ways you could do it. You could be like, you could be the Green Monster or Wally the Green Monster. You could do the Wally the Green Monster costume, or you would basically take like board, cardboard or some sort of board, painted as a green, like make it the Green Monster, right? Like, the whole thing, and then like make it like a sandwich board, so it like you wear it and you wear the Green Monster. But you're walking down the street and you have this very like wide like wall, like on the other side of you, and you're like having to shimmy around people and stuff.
You're like that person at the party who is just like, okay,
it's like the person who wears like wings, and you're like, I'm really sorry, God. Like I'm in the way.
Oh, it was really interesting at work the other day. I don't know. I mean, what was this on Thursday? This girl came in and she was wearing like a Tinkerbell costume, and like it was kind of like a backless dress she had on, but she had the wings, and she actually had fairy wings tattooed on her back. And I was like, is that part? That's actually kind of cool. It's like a double wing fairy costume. But yeah, I like my idea for the Astrodome. I mean, I like the Astrodome costume. What, like $15 at max? That's great. Yeah, and umbrella hat.
And I don't know if there's actually another ballpark that you could go as. Like really, like maybe you could go as like maybe Fenway because that's distinct enough, but like ballparks through the years, like is there a ballpark that if you go as that park, people would be like, oh, I know what you are. But if you go as the Astrodome, I think that kind of is the closest that you would get to wearing a ballpark and people would know what it is.
Right.
Especially if you're in Houston. I mean, obviously, but it's that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna go.
I'm proud of myself for that one.
Someone's gonna go. That's your costume next year. Do that next year.
It is. I mean, if we were recording this before Halloween, I'd be like, oh my God, I've been changing everything up right now. I have to go to the store. Yeah.
All right. Well, that is it for Take Me Out this week. Halloween. Happy Halloween for those who are listening on Friday. For those who aren't, happy November. And we will be back to talk about more baseball stuff. We're doing every 2 weeks for a little bit now. It's off season. There's not a lot going on. So we're just going to keep it every 2 weeks for a bit. And then we'll get back into the regular rotation after that. But we'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll talk about more baseball stuff. We'll have some fun stuff to discuss, I'm sure, after the postseason's over and off-season starts, and there's going to be ballpark news, I'm sure, coming out the woodwork over the next few weeks. So get ready for all that. But until then, for Take Me Out, I am Tim.
And I'm Alex, and it's baseball season just for a little bit longer.
See you next time.